In the early hours of September 8th, the quiet of Chatsworth, south of Durban, was broken by a burst of gunfire. At the Pumphouse Informal Settlement, a police operation ended in tragedy. 5 suspects killed, including a teenager, just 15 years old. What unfolded that morning was the result of weeks of intelligence gathering by KwaZulu-Natal's specialized units. Investigators say the suspects were linked to a string of violent crimes across the province: murders, house robberies, and extortion cases in areas such as Mpumalanga Township, Mariannhill, and Sunduzi. For many residents, these crimes had become a grim feature of daily life, and police say the group posed a growing threat to public safety. According to police spokesperson Colonel Robert Netchiunda, officers moved in on a shack at around 4 in the morning. Acting on a tip-off, they surrounded the hideout and announced their presence. But instead of surrendering, the suspects opened fire. What followed was a fierce exchange of gunfire. When it was over, all 5 suspects lay dead. 3 firearms were recovered at the scene, including a crude homemade gun, a stark reminder of how easily deadly weapons are circulating through South Africa's informal settlements.
Yes, good morning. They are very young. The youngest one is 17, and the oldest one is in the early 20s. The suspects have been terrorizing the communities in surroundings of eThekwini district, areas like Mpumalanga, KwaZulu-Natal, Hammarsdale, with different crimes that they've been committing, the murders, as we have already mentioned, extortion, attempted murders, including stock theft. So members were investigating these crimes and following up on information on the whereabouts of the suspects with an intention of getting them arrested so that they face the court or they're brought to court. Unfortunately, as they followed this information in the early hours of this morning, they approached this shack where these suspects were hiding out. The members then were confronted with shooting when the suspect shot at the police. And the police had to retaliate and return fire. Unfortunately, 5 of them were fatally wounded. Fortunately, none of our members got harmed during the incident.
General, it looks like, I mentioned earlier to my colleague that it's a confined space. I'm just looking at this pathway behind, and I know the path that we followed to get here. Was that a bit of a challenge for the members who were approaching this area in the morning? It looks quite dangerous.
Most definitely, it's always a challenge, and we have so many areas like this where criminals opt to hide with an intention of running away from the police. So including this one, it was not easy. Remember, in situations like this, you have to be very careful when you're trying to arrest or to capture a suspect, because innocent people, innocent communities, including children, might just be caught on the crossfire. So in this instance, it was not easy, but fortunately, it is just the suspects that we got to arrest in this way.
While no officers were injured, the incident has left behind more than just bullet holes. It has reignited a painful conversation. Why are South Africa's children being pulled into a cycle of crime and violence? Community members say the discovery of a 15-year-old among the dead is both shocking and heartbreaking. For some, it reflects a reality they have long feared, that criminal syndicates are deliberately recruiting teenagers, exploiting poverty, lack of opportunity, and desperation. In settlements like Pumphouse, where jobs are scarce and crime often goes unpunished, joining a gang can feel like the only option. Experts point to deeper social issues.
Uqala ngokukhathazeka kwakho mhlambe nokuphawula kwakho ngalokho kwenzeke la ekseni.
Khathazekile kakhulu ngoba ulwa ubengane. Ngane 15 years and bengisabheka okuningi kuyena. Even ngikhuluma naye although bengazi ukuthi uzwana nabantu abangekho right. Kodwa betshengisa ukuthi uyingane ngaso sonke isikhathi and angikaze ngizwe lutho ngaye ukuthi mhlawumbe khona into etshontshiwe. Etshontsho yena ulwa mhlawumbe kufike amaphoyisa ekhaya ezohlasela ngoba esihlasela ngenxa yakhe. Alikho icala esengalizwa mhlawumbe kufika umakhelwane ezokhala ngaye akukho esengakuzwa ngaye. Kubhlungu kakhulu. Angazi ukuthi ngathini, ngiphukile emoyeni. Ngiphukile.
Mhlawumbe ukusichazela nje ube hlala kuyo le ndawo le noma ubevela kwenye indawo, siyezwa kuthiwa abanye babasolwa abalahlekelwe impilo zabo labe bengaveli le ndawo.
Abanye abasolwa bebengaveli lana ubevele ezwelibovu ngokuhlala saye sahlala la kudala singakabi na umuzi ezwelibovu sase siyasuka ke sesezwelibovu ngoba sesibuka kona ke lokhu ukuthi angaze agcine sengena ezinkingeni nabantu abarumo samthatha satha kabuye ezohlala no auntie la okusho ukuthi ke abangani bakhe bazile ukuthi ula ngoba uyazi ukuthi khona amafoni wabuya wazohlala la kunomunye ke behlala la obomngani wakhe ezisebenzele umfana la ekwenzekele khona isigabeke endlini so semekwenzeka lapha endlini ke yena ube ngakazi ukuthi ngathini angazi ngiphelelwa amazwi
mhlambe nje angazi noma ungakwazi yini ukusiphindela kodwa kunabahlali balendawo abathi kungakadubuleki kukhona abanye babo abezwakale beyinxusela noma beyincengele emaphoyiseni mhlawumbe ukusilandela kabanzi ngalokho.
Yebo kuzwakalile bayasho abahlala balendawo ukuthi amaphoyisa afikile akhulume sengaphakathi vele amaphoyisa sesikhahlelile isicapha afuna ibhamu ongangokuba kuthiwa ibhamu etholakela nganoma zo4 noma zo3 yini khona ngaphakathi endlini and kuthiwa kuzwakale abanye babo bethi indoda vuka umelane nenkinga zakho ngesifeli inkinga zakho nangempela ke kuthe emva kwalokho isikhashana futhi kwazakala umunye senxuse sesibaba sesiyiqhumile ibhama ngazi noma besebedubulekile nabanye esibaba ngiyacela ungangibulala ngazi lutho ongangokuba semesifika safica namajacket abo la eminyango asazi noma bebebaleka babuyiselwe endlini ikona nje ukumbuzo kumini ukuthi ukuthi bebezoboshwa bebengaboshwa ngani kunokuthi baze bathathwe bonke bayobondela isendlini bebulawe kubonakala ukuthi umuphi namuphi onecala umuntu amelane namacala akhe.
Siyabonga khuluma siyabonga. Michelle, I just want to bring in the grandmother of the same suspect that our guest just spoke to us about. Koko siyabonga kakhulu khuluma nathi mhlambe nje siyezwa kuthi umzukulu wakho ebemncane kakhulu mhlambe ukukhuluma nathi ngokuthi ubumgcine nini nanokushaqeka kwakho ukuze ukuthi ngathi ungoyedwa walaba balapha ngaphakathi.
Ngiphatheke kabuhlungu ngokuzwa indaba enjengolwa ngoba ukugcinana kwami naye ngimgcine ngoDisemba makwama holiday uyehla azovakasha ekhaya mangabe kukhona inkinga ekhona uma wakho kangithinte ngocingo usilungise leyonto kodwa ke akukade seke wangivikela kona ngokuthi ulwa umbona esethanda ukuba nobugebengu ngithukile ke namhlanje mangithola umbiko njengalo ilokho nje engase ngisho ukuthi ngibhlungu nemibuzo engiyibuzayo ukuthi no engikuzwayo ukukhulunywa abantu la akungigculisi ebengingakuthanda nje ukuthi ngizwe ngalaba okuyibona benza uminakala ukuthi mhlambe sifikile la sithole information ingane mhlambe za actor mhlambe izona eziqalile zasidubula asazi ikona nje okungiphatha kabuhlungu ngoba lengane no 15
mhlambe sengiphetha nje gogo amaphoyisa athi bambandakanyeka kubugebengu obunjengobulala kanye nezinye izinto nithini nina ngokuphawula kwenu njengomndeni.
Angazi ngeke ngiqamba amanga kodwa ke mabesho kanjalo ngoba phela ngokwami ngicabanga ukuthi bayitholile information enjalo. Angazi ngeke ngibe nesho ukuthi bakwenza ulwa ingane na 15 ingakwazi ukukhipha isidumbu. Angazi ke kodwa ke mhlambe mengabe behamba nabantu abenza leyonto naye ngagaxekela kuleyonto ngoba uma uhamba nabantu abawrong ugcina usubalwa nabo kodwa nje kungiphathe kabuhlungu bandla ukuhamba kwakhe ngalendlela enjengale.
Michelle, those are the relatives of one of the suspects who is yet to be removed, in fact, from the scene. Now, what we understand from that conversation that we had, the family members are raising a number of questions. The grandmother of the suspect stating that one of the suspects was 15. However, we are yet to receive that statement from police indicating the ages of those suspects, but they have stated earlier on that these suspects that were shot and killed here were between the ages of 17 and 20. Now, the sibling whom we spoke to earlier on stating that she is not sure how her sibling ended up in this situation, also stating that it seems as if he was involved with bad friends, and that's possibly how he ended up in this particular situation. But lastly, the police stating that the crimes that these 5 suspects have been linked to include murder, extortion, house robbery, and a number of other crimes. Michelle.
South Africa has one of the highest youth unemployment rates in the world. Families battling poverty often struggle to keep children in school. In this environment, the promise of quick money, even through extortion and robbery, can lure vulnerable teenagers into a life that is both short and violent. But police argue that the law cannot look the other way, no matter the age of the suspects. They say the group was armed, dangerous, and responsible for terrorizing communities. The shootout, they insist, was a necessary step to protect innocent lives. Still, many are left asking if enough is being done to prevent young people from reaching this point. Social workers warn that without stronger intervention, better education, job creation, and support systems, more children could be lost to the same fate. As investigators continue searching for other suspects linked to the syndicate, the case has become more than just a police operation. It is a reflection of the larger crisis facing South Africa, the collision of violent crime, poverty, and the vulnerability of its youth. For now, the Pumphouse Informal Settlement stands as the latest battleground in KwaZulu-Natal's struggle with organized crime. And in the aftermath of the gunfire, a community is left to reckon with a haunting truth that a boy of just 15 years old died, not as a victim, but as a suspect in a deadly shootout with police. This story, like so many others, leaves South Africans with difficult questions. How do we protect our children from crime syndicates? How do we stop the spread of illegal weapons? And how many more lives will be lost before real change takes hold? Please share your thoughts under the comment section and let us know what do you think of this story. And that's it from our side. If you want more content like this, please make sure you subscribe and like the video. Thank you for watching.